A series of new fines for breaches of COVID-19 guidelines have been introduced, including new fixed penalties for €500 for organising an event. And for more on this, we're joined now by Liam Herrick, Executive Director of the Irish Council for Civil Liberties. Liam, first of all, just for people who may not be familiar with the exact fines that have been brought in, what changes have been made?
Well, Ciara, it would be hard for the public to know what had been brought in, because what happened, it seems, is the Minister for Health signed these into effect last weekend, but they were only made public yesterday. What we now have is 6 different fixed penalty fines. So there's no discretion here for the guards or the DPP. Rigid fines will apply. 2 relate to the wearing of masks, which were already penal provisions or criminal offences before last weekend, and they now will be fines until next June. The other 4 relate to events or travel, and the 4 of these will only be criminal offences until next Tuesday, and it's unlikely that the guards will have in place an IT administrative system to apply them before that, or maybe perhaps a day or so before that.
Okay, so firstly, are you saying that they're toothless because they were brought in this weekend and they'll more or less run out in the middle of next week?
Yeah, there's no real purpose to doing this at this particular point in time, and especially as we know the government has very big decisions to make this week about what will happen next week, whether level 5 will still apply, whether it be level 3. So the timing is a bit curious, to be frank. But this whole approach really goes against the community policing approach we've had to enforcement of COVID since last April, and would seem to open a lot of potential difficulties that really are unnecessary at this time.
Does that matter though, Liam? You know, a lot of people are living under huge restrictions at the moment. Surely to enforce those restrictions so we can get out of them sooner is better than having restrictions we don't enforce. I mean, a lot of people argued if we had have enforced level 3 with a little bit more effort or a little bit more, stick rather than just carrot, we might never have ended up at level 5. So is it not for the good that we enforce these things and we need some kind of sanction?
Well, Ciara, I suppose there'd need to be evidence that it's likely to have any positive effect. And what we know is that fines are a particularly ineffective tool to influence behaviour. People who have enough money don't care. People who are resistant and don't want to comply generally don't pay fines anyway. That's our experience in other areas of law, and it's particularly the case with regard to public health. We've international research that says fines are a particularly ineffective way to do this.
So do you think there should be no sanctions? Do you think civil liberties in this instance trump the need, I suppose, to make restrictions something that we sign up to during a pandemic?
Well, I think there are some areas, for example, the wearing of masks, where there is some evidence that having a sanction can be effective. And what we've done over the last number of months is that the guards have taken a community policing approach.
No, you've made that point. Yeah. But if it's effective for masks, why not effective for house parties?
But what's being done here is different than what's been done before. Because up until now, prosecutions could only go ahead as a last resort in consultation with the DPP. This now allows these to be applied on the spot, which creates a difficulty that they be applied unevenly in different sections of the population. And all of the evidence at this stage is what's needed is clear, simple messages to people. So I think that the other real difficulty, I think, at this point is that this is the first time now we have a criminal sanction.
Yeah, but Liam, you keep making the point that this is a change. Something being a change doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong.
No, well, the significant change here, Ciara, is this is the first time that it's a criminal offence to attend an event in a private house if you're not from that household. And back in June, the guards and the government, the Department of Justice, all agreed that it's particularly dangerous to try to criminalise behaviour in private homes.